Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band. Is Boogeyman band.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone. I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is going to be my review of the newest film from the Saw franchise, and that is Spiral. There's my ticket right there. This is the first time that I have stepped foot in a movie theater since March of 2020. The last movie I saw at my local theater was The Invisible Man, which came out last winter. And the experience I had watching that film, the experience my wife and I had watching that film, was absolutely horrendous. And I actually talked about it in the review that I eventually did on the film when it was released on Blu-ray last spring. Yeah, that was a horrible experience, and it was kind of a sour note to go out on after the theater shut down due to the pandemic, because 2 weeks after we saw that film, everything closed. And my theater actually did not open back up until late March of this year. And going back today was very surreal. There wasn't a lot of people. It was different, checking in to get your tickets and get your concessions and everything. Movies have been my life since I can remember, and the movie theater has always played an important part of it. I like watching movies at home, but I've always preferred the theater. I just love the immersive experience and the people around you. We were like two of the only people in this theater. I think maybe about 10 people in the theater, but so not a huge crowd, but just an amazing experience seeing a movie on the big screen. Of course, the movie Spiral is a spin-off of the Saw franchise. We did a retrospective on the franchise last October. I've seen every one of these movies in the theater. This is the first time my wife has actually gone to see one with me since Saw 2. Saw 2 was kind of one that just really, that was too much for her, and after that my brother-in-law and I went and saw all the remaining films in the franchise every year that they came out. It was a Halloween tradition. This is the first film in the franchise to not be released in Halloween. Another great thing about this film is it actually brought back Darren Lynn Bousman, who directed Saws 2, 3, and 4. And I'm really excited to talk about my experience watching Spiral and what I thought of it. So I hope everyone looks forward to this. Please stay tuned. A criminal mastermind unleashes a twisted form of justice in Spiral, the terrifying new chapter from the Book of Saw. For the cast, you have Chris Rock as Detective Zeke Banks, you have Samuel L. Jackson as Marcus Banks, Marisol Nichols as Captain Angie Garza, and Max Minghella as William Schenk. The movie was written by Josh Stolberg and Pete Goldfinger, and the movie was directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. A little trivia on the film: Chris Rock is actually a huge fan of the Saw franchise and pitched the idea to Lionsgate. There was a trap scene during the film's third act that had to be cut for the movie to pass with an R rating with the MPAA. The scene contained a person getting their face sliced off. So I thought it was really awesome that we had Sam Jackson and Chris Rock in this film. I'm a huge fan of both actors. Chris Rock, of course, I grew up loving as a comedian. Stand-up specials have always been some of my favorites, but I also loved him in movies like New Jack City, CB4, he was in Boomerang, and more recently, well, within the last few years, he was in the movie Death at a Funeral, which I absolutely loved. It was a huge ensemble film with like Martin Lawrence and Danny Glover. Excellent film, remake of a British comedy, and then also Top 5, which I absolutely loved. And he was a huge fan of this. He was an executive producer on it and also came up with the story idea. And then who can't say enough great things about Sam Jackson, one of my favorite actors of all time. I actually really did like Spiral. I would say it has more, it's more tied into the first Saw than I think the later sequels. The strength of these films has always been the mystery element of it. That's what it always felt like to me. It always felt like, who is this person? Why are they doing this? And that was what the whole element of the franchise was that hooked me from the beginning. There's a reason behind it. There's a motive. And I really liked finding out what that motive was. And I thought Chris Rock did a great job in the film as Detective Zeke Banks, and I really liked the dynamic between him and Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson playing his father Marcus in it. I really liked their rapport. Of course, both men are just fantastic in their craft. I did feel like Chris Rock was restrained in the film, and my wife and I both talked about that. She felt the same way. It just seemed like he had been told maybe, or just maybe he was just trying to do something a little bit different, but he just seemed dialed back. As the film started, you see that kind of sharp humor that Chris Rock is known for, but then as the film progressed, he got more and more serious. And of course, the circumstances, of course he's going to be serious, but there just wasn't that sharp wit that I think would have actually enhanced the character a little bit more.
The movie does seem like it is choppy, and it seems like there was some things cut out. Like I said in the intro, they did cut one of the trap scenes out from the third act, but the movie does seem very choppy, and it is very short. The other issue that I had with it is that the identity of who the killer is very predictable, and my wife and I both kind of figured it out right away. Because most of the Saw films, that was the whole thing, like who is doing this, like what is the twist, and I knew probably an hour into it who it was going to be.
I think Darren Bousman, again, top of his craft. I'm a huge fan of that director. I love not only the Saw films, but I also liked Abattoir. I think that's a great film. I also loved his remake of Mother's Day. He's a great director, and I was so glad to see him step back into the franchise after being gone for so long. But I felt like they really tried to do something a little bit different here, something more original, something a little bit more personal, and I think they did a great job. I mean, I'm curious if we are going to see more spin-offs from Spiral. I've heard rumors that they're going to make another Jigsaw film. It looks like they're trying to revive this franchise and keep it going. I've enjoyed all of them. Like I said, Spiral isn't my favorite of the bunch, but I really did enjoy the film, and I look forward to picking it up on Blu-ray and DVD when it comes out and watching it again and adding it to my collection of Saw films. Of course, these are just a few. I have all of the individual films, and then I have the Steelbook of Jigsaw. To give Spiral a rating on my scale, I would give it 3.5 skulls. So yeah, Spiral, newest film in the Saw franchise, the 9th film in the Saw franchise, which is crazy. The franchise started in 2004, and I have seen every one of them in the movie theater, and I was so grateful that my beautiful wife Jackie went with me to see this one. Again, first movie theater experience in over 14 months. Pretty crazy. It's the longest trek I've ever gone without going to the movies. I'm looking forward to other movies that are going to be coming out in theaters, especially like A Quiet Place 2, which is supposed to open at the end of this month. That'll probably be the next one I go see in the theater. Cannot wait. Trailer looks awesome. And thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to watch this. I'm curious what you guys think of the Saw franchise. I will put a link down below to my retrospective on the entire series that I did last October, right before Halloween. If you guys have seen Spiral, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Please no spoilers, because the movie is just opening. If you guys liked it, that's great. If you didn't, just share your thoughts with me. But again, please no spoilers. If you're looking forward to seeing it, again, just leave some comments down below. I know I have a lot of comments and follow-ups to my previous videos to get back with people on. I apologize. I've been very busy, a lot going on. But again, thanks so much for the support, and stay tuned for some other great videos coming out of the Horror Zone very soon. So take it easy, stay scared as always.